Hello again. Good evening. It's what time is it in Sydney? It is 9:56 p.m. and I'm just going to hit the sack very shortly. But tonight we will talk about cronkite. Cronkite. Oh wow. There's so many ways that I could go with this, but I will go the way that I know best. And because sometimes like one part of a crystal turns out, like comes out, and then another part, and then there's so many parts to each crystal. But the simple purpose of crocite is passion, your passion. Italians know passion very well. The beautiful lion roar, the serpent up the spine, the fire up the ass. But I'm going to go to Tantra because that's what beautiful crocite represents with black obsidian. I love black obsidian. So, crocite and black obsidian combined is the representation of the lovely goddess Bastet from ancient Egyptian mythology. And Bastet, there's an actual statue of that cat goddess, and there's lots of statues that were erected from the beautiful Egyptian pyramids, those incredible landmarks that we still do not comprehend completely, but some of us are remembering or re remembering. It was one of those ancient civilizations that were, like a lot of people say it was the old Atlantis or something like that. Well, what we know about the pyramids, or what I know about the pyramids, is that they align with a certain galactic star system perfectly, actually. And they align with the Orion's belt or something like that. But anyway, like it's not some random thing that just happened out of the blue, as if Sydney and the buildings of Sydney even care about whether they're aligning with the solar system or not. But in those ancient times, that was a big fucking deal because if they could align their sacred sites or pyramids to the solar system, a certain solar system, then they can draw upon the energy of that solar system because everything about our human selves, our planet, is all astrologically refined, and there's a universal language that goes with all that. I know I'm going off tangent, but for example, everybody since the solar eclipse that I know that is conscious and sensitive are having big experiences of transformation and rebirth and death, and going into the underworld and reclaiming themselves. Like for me, for instance, my car broke down twice last week, and that was a huge deal for me because I use my car for work, and I just, like it's like redefining what my job is and where I am with work, and like, anyways, I was left stranded in the middle of the night wondering how the fuck am I going to get some help come to me. And there I just asked, and I received. So there was this place of receiving help from others when we are in a vulnerable state. So that's what's happening now. But right, that was what's happening in the transition period of now. What we're coming out of or coming into is putting ourselves out there, and crocite helps to go from one transition to the next. So we're coming out of that underworld period of the eclipse, and then we're going into leaping out and putting ourselves out there. And how do we do that? We need the drive, the engine, the fuel of it. And crocite reminds me of fuel, like lighting us up, putting the fire up our asses so that we move, so that we have faith in ourselves, so that we have trust, and that we just take that leap of faith. But where I wanted to go mainly was tantric practice. And I don't want to use Tantra anymore because I'm not affiliated with the ancient Tantra practices that the I guess like not much of the feminine was involved in the decision making of what Tantra really represented. So now that we're having the rise of the feminine and the feminine reclaiming her sacred sensuality in terms of empowering herself to make decisions and choices, especially about the man she chooses, right? I'm sorry if I'm excluding the they, them community, the gay community. You can exclude the she, him and put in they, them, right? But I'm just doing it as she, him because I identify as a female. And so, yeah, we're reclaiming our sacred sensuality, our empowerment, our ability to make wise choices, our ability to have wisdom, right? And so the shadow aspect of crocite is addiction. One extreme is addiction, and the other extreme is really deep depression, right? And I'm not saying either of those are wrong. They are both due to our upbringing or our external environment having an impact on us, on our psyche, on our energy, on our whatever you want to call that. So, how we have been brought up in our relationship to sensuality, to self exploration, to sensual self exploration, which begins at a very young age. But sometimes the boundaries of the brain development from childhood right through to our teenage life, right through our adult life, can be severed. And so our sacred sexuality can be distorted and not grown into maturity of being protected and coming from the heart and coming from a loving embrace rather than being hungry, like that hungry, uh, I'm just going to get pleasure out of you because you look amazing, and it's all based on sight and not based on how we feel emotionally and how we feel about that person. And we're not looking at their persona or their character or what drives them to be compassionate or empathic or loving, right? So the loving aspect is removed when we have uh, addiction, right? It's like addiction is like a distraction from feeling the pain, right? So I don't want to shame addiction. It's a distraction from feeling the pain. Okay. It's a survival mechanism. And the other extreme is depression is like suppressing ourselves in order to we just feel miserable about what's happened to us and sad, and it sometimes goes deeper, goes beyond sadness, and we're just like totally numbed out and we just can't be bothered with life. We don't want to face life. We don't see the point of living. And so crocite is for both of those individuals. And I'm not talking about fixing or saving, it just helps to ignite the fire again, right? Now, let's talk about Tantra a little bit. So the old tantric practices to me feel like it's just based on sight. It's based on lust, and I'm not saying these are bad. It's just the way that we have evolved. It's based on lust. It's based on the wounded self around sexuality. It's not based on loving care, right? It's not based on loving care or nurturing. There's no nurturance in lust. It's just lust. It's lust to get pleasure out of that individual. And that lust can actually become numb, like you don't feel anything after a while. There's no enjoyment in your sensuality because you don't have all your senses open. You don't have the sense of touch open. You don't have the sense of care. You don't have the sense of love. You don't have the sense of taste. You don't have the sense of feeling that person in your heart as a warmth in your heart. Have you ever spoken to someone and that you feel that warmth in your heart? I have. When I know that my body can feel and sense that it trusts that person completely that I'm speaking to or interacting with me in intimacy, my heart feels it. So when my heart feels it, I'm able to experience orgasmic or pleasure at a much deeper, richer and luxurious. It's like a luxurious, richer, deeper feeling rather than just a surface kind of it, like lust to me feels like a surface tension. It's still pleasure, but it's like a tension in certain pleasure points of the body, whereas sensuality feels more, yeah, it feels more lush and it feels expansive and it feels warm and it feels really um, inviting rather than trying to extract something from someone. Right. And that's why I wrote The Man She Chooses, because it's not only a book about what kind of man she chooses, oh, he has a job, blah, blah, blah. No, it's about her nervous system and what her nervous system chooses when she has matured into her own empowered, self-empowered and self-respectful place where she feels and senses what's happening in the room, in the interaction, in the way that he responds to certain situations. That's what my book is about. The Man She Chooses is a regulated nervous system who chooses from her body rather than just from her thoughts. And that the man is not, a lot of men just learn about sexuality through porn, whereas a woman can actually show a man how to be sensual with her. And he is not competing with porn, he is being present with her and the landscape of her body and the way that she embraces her sensuality can teach a man and actually heal a man in his own sexuality and sensuality. And so, yeah, I just want to end it off there. And if you want to heal your sacred sensual self or your sacred, or if you have like wounding around your sexuality, the three crystals that you work with are carnelian, garnet, and crocite. In the video, I've left images of what they look like, and you can imagine them coming through your body, through the base of your spine, around your hips, around your sacral area, and move it along your spine. Imagine it moving through your body, call it in from the earth. We're 10% physical, and the rest is energy. And the earth always gives what you ask for, always. It never does not. Like, As soon as you ask the earth for its energy or for a certain vibration, it's going to give it to you. Whether you feel it or not, that's beside the point. It's still going to give it to you because it's you who's blocking the sensation. If you don't feel anything, it has nothing to do with the earth. The earth is not going to come up to you and slap you across the face and say, hurry up and feel the energy. No, it's you. You have to work on improving your sensitivity to the energy. And that's a whole other discussion.